Hey guys, today we're doing something a little different. We're going to do, I think this is my first list show where it's not a top 10 list, but today I'm going to talk about some figures that I want to see in the Star Wars Black Series line. Now these aren't my top 5 or my top 10. These are just figures that I want to see. There are 5 figures that I think we need, and then there are 5 figures that I would absolutely buy, but we are never going to see these figures. So let's jump into my 5 figures that I think we need in the Star Wars Black Series line. Now, in no particular order, we're going to start this list off with Asajj Ventress. I have a huge love of this character, of the Clone Wars, of the Star Wars cartoons from the prequel era, and this is easily one of the best bad guys to pick from. The design is there, 2 red lightsabers, it's a female. I mean, how could you really go wrong? Unless you absolutely hate the Clone Wars, this is a figure that I think that we are going to get, just it's a matter of time, and that's pretty much this entire list. But it's a fan favorite. She is definitely among the top characters from the Clone Wars, and I think she would make an excellent addition to the Black Series. For number 4, we're going back to the original trilogy, and this is one that I think is all but guaranteed at this point, just based on some recent figures and the fact that he kind of goes hand in hand with one of our main characters, really. So Lobot is my number 4 in this list, and again, this is no real order. These aren't my top 5. These are just figures that right now I think we need and are probably going to get. So Lobot from Empire Strikes Back, he's Lando Calrissian's right-hand man. We've got Lando, we've got another Lando coming, we've got young Lando. There is no doubt in my mind that we are going to get Lando's buddy from Cloud City. He does have an interesting head sculpt that I think would translate really well into the Black Series. He may be among the more boring characters on my list, but I would absolutely want to have him, and I think he is all but guaranteed at this point. Number 3 on my list, we're going back to the Clone Wars. We are going to go with Savage Opress. Now this guy I think would be just an instant sellout. There's no doubt about it that we've seen Darth Maul come and go. He's a huge fan favorite. He is one of the slightly more expensive characters on the aftermarket just because of his age, but it's Darth Maul. And this guy is a larger, slightly more armored version of Darth Maul that's yellow. So how can you really go wrong? I think he would be just an instant sellout across the board, and I would love to have him. I think he would make for an excellent addition to any Star Wars shelf. You've got a bad guy, you've got an alien. It practically sells itself when you think about it. And back to the original trilogy, we are going to go this time with one that, again, it's one that I think is a shoo-in. It's just a matter of time because he perfectly fits in with other existing figures, and that's Bib Fortuna. So Jabba's Major Domo, you can't not have him. We've got Jabba, we've got the Salacious Crumb from that SDCC exclusive. You know, it only makes sense that we get him to kind of round out that little trio. And I think, as always, it's an alien. People crave aliens in this line, myself included. He would be an instant sellout. So it's not necessarily that we aren't going to get him. It's just, I think it's a matter of when on this guy, because you know he's coming. You know they're going to revisit this character in the 6-inch scale, but we absolutely need him. It's just a matter of when. And my last pick, and this again, this isn't like my top pick, but this is a 2-parter. I could go either way on this. So they kind of go hand in hand. They're similar but different. So we've got what I guess would be maybe a deluxe pack or a multi-pack or a con exclusive maybe for each one. But we've got Sy Snootles and the Rebo Band, or Figrin D'an and the Modal Nodes. So you've got Jabba's Palace Band, or you've got the Cantina Band on Mos Eisley. So pick one. I would be fine with either. I'm not really sure that this would happen, but I think it would be, again, an instant sellout. You've got aliens, you've got a wacky, quirky set on either side because of the weird instruments they've got. I think the Rebo Band would do a little more on the quirky side of things just because they're all different. But the Figrin D'an and the Modal Nodes share a lot of parts, so they could maybe more easily do them from a cost perspective. Hasbro, are you listening? So that's what I want. I don't think that those are my top 5. Obviously, there are main iterations of characters that we haven't gotten yet that I would like to get, but these are characters that I would absolutely love to buy, and I think that they are entirely doable. We just haven't gotten them yet, or it's only maybe a matter of time. So with that said, let's take a look at my 5 figures that I would absolutely unequivocally buy instantly, but I just know in my heart of hearts that I'm never ever going to see these in this line. We're kicking off the list with a prequel character, and that is going to be Dexter Jettster from Attack of the Clones. So this is the 50 style diner owner that talks to Obi-Wan Kenobi, gives him the Camino Dart information, tells him about the cloners. How could you not want this guy? He's got a dirty, greasy apron. He's a big, nasty alien. He's got that bushy mustache. And I mean, really, we want more aliens. This guy would be a great deluxe figure because he's humongous, but we're never going to get him. You know, we just know we're never going to get him, and that's the theme that we're going to see in this list. Sticking with the prequels again, but we're going one movie back, and no, I'm not going to say Jar Jar Binks. I think we might actually get him. I'm going to say Boss Nass. So I would absolutely buy a Boss Nass figure, especially if he's got some sort of, you know, like slobber coming out of his face or something like that, or if you're able to rattle his jowls a bit or something stupid like that. I think he would make a fun figure. He'd be awesome. He'd be, again, a bigger figure because he's a rotund fellow, but he would be another cool alien on your shelf, and prequel or not, and I like the prequel, so I'm not arguing that point. Aliens are aliens, you're going to want to populate your shelves with something that's not just troopers, right? Everybody wants aliens. He would be a great addition, but we all know we're not going to get Boss Nass. Number 3 takes us back to The Empire Strikes Back. It takes us back to Cloud City again, and this one is one that, I mean, they could do him, but I don't see them ever actually doing them. It just doesn't make any sense financially, probably. He would have to be maybe a pack-in with something, or a multi-pack, or some garbage. But Willrow Hood, so that's the guy that you see for like a split second run through Cloud City as the evacuations are occurring, that has the ice cream maker. So he's got his own backstory, he's got his own cult following. So I would buy him just because of the novelty factor, and that's pretty much this entire little list here. But this guy, I think, would make a ton of fans happy just on that fact alone. But again, this is figures we're not getting, and we're definitely not getting him. The next one takes us to the prequels again, and we're going again to Attack of the Clones. We're going to the Jedi Archives, and we're going to get, well, we're not going to get Jocasta Nu. So I think this character would be just ridiculous, which is why we're not going to get her. How many people really want a Grandma Jedi on their shelf? I mean, I do. I would buy her. But that's kind of the thing. Are you going to get a figure like that? How much would she really sell? It took an exclusive in the Vintage Collection to get her to be made, so I don't think she would ever be made in Black Series, despite the fact that we might get a really nice face print out of her, get her lightsaber, you get a nice flowing soft goods robe maybe. I think they could do a great job, but again, how many people are going to buy an old lady? And the last character to appear on this list is one that you may not be familiar with. He is really old. I guess he's kind of obscure. I mean, the larger Star Wars fan base probably already knows who this is, but your average Star Wars collector probably doesn't, and that would be Jaxxon. So if that name doesn't ring a bell for you, he is from the old Marvel Star Wars comics, the original ones. He debuted in Star Wars number 8, I think, 8 or 9, something like that. So early, he is a giant, well, not giant, but he's big. He's a humanoid green space rabbit, and he's kind of like Bucky O'Hare, which, you know, makes it an odd entry because I kind of have this figure in Bucky form, and he actually kind of looks like this. And Jaxxon came first. He does have a red outfit, and he's green, and he's a rabbit, but he's different. So that's one that I would absolutely unequivocally love to have. I feel like they could do him in kind of the Rebels style that they did with like Kanan and Ahsoka and Sabine and Hera. Make him maybe a little more realistic. We're never going to get him, although he is now officially in the new canon because he did appear in a recent comic book in the new canon. So it's not out of the realm of possibility, but Hasbro's never going to make this figure. Although I would absolutely buy him on the spot. I'd pre-order him. I'd do whatever it took to actually get that figure. So Hasbro, if you're listening, there is at least one person out there that would buy a Jaxxon figure. So that is my list, or my lists. The top 5 figures, well, I keep saying that, not top 5, just 5 figures that I think we need in the Star Wars Black Series line, and 5 figures that I would love to buy, but we will never get. What do you think of these lists? Do you have any figures that you would add or subtract to either list? Let me know down below. Feel free to like, comment, subscribe, and share. Do that whole YouTube thing. Thanks for watching, and until next time, guys.